SWIFT. Some people will recognize this term, others won't, but it's the way right now that the system works and the information, the money is passed between banks, and the last thing it is SWIFT. It's clunky, it's slow. Those outside of the industry, particularly in the fintech sector, know there are better options. Brian, is this the plan to replace, improve on the existing infrastructure that SWIFT is at this moment?
Well, Julia, you make a great point that SWIFT is one of the most ironically named organizations in the world. The joke in my world is that if you wanted to move money from America to Australia, the fastest way to do that is to load it in a suitcase and put it on an airplane, which is a little bit crazy in the US, right? So to me, what has to happen is there are faster solutions, and they exist in other parts of the world. So the UK, Singapore, China, many of our global competitors have adopted real-time payments. In the US, that seems to be still years away unless we allow existing technologies to do the work for us. And I think that's very possible.
Brian, how quickly can you do this? How quickly can you achieve this, given, as we've discussed, there are existing resistant points, and they're pretty powerful in this country?
Well, they are, Julia, but in the world, there's nothing more powerful than markets, because markets represent what millions of consumers want every day. And so my job is not to build new payment rails. My job is to identify impediments that make it harder for people to get what they want and need. And at the OCC, we have an ability to do that. So among those include the questions of, should banks be allowed to participate in the cryptocurrency market at all? Should banks be allowed to connect to blockchains? Should we have central bank digital currencies, perhaps issued by private companies, but backed by bank deposits? I can identify what the impediments to that are and try and solve that so people can get what they want as they express through markets. I think that's very possible.
Brian, very quickly, I read recently that 15% of Americans now own some form of digital asset or a cryptocurrency. You also want to tackle this and make sure that banks can provide services as far as digital assets are concerned. You're trying to protect consumers again.
Well, look, in a world where 50 million Americans do hold cryptocurrencies and many, many millions more outside of this country do, to me, we can't ignore that phenomenon. So I am not a crypto bull nor a crypto bear, but I recognize reality. A lot of people have this stuff. They have it for good reasons, and we need to make sure it's accessible to them in the same safe and sound way that they can get their checking account. So that's our role, is to innovate as people change the way they consume financial services in the future.
Yeah, I have to say, I find you a breath of fresh air, but I can see you're going to be a whirlwind to others. Brian, we will continue this conversation. Thank you so much for it.
Wow, guys, that was quite the mouthful, wasn't it? This came out a couple days ago, so maybe some of you have seen it, maybe some of you haven't. That is a lot to unpack there, but basically this guy right here is Brian Brooks, who was the founder of Coinbase, did a lot of work with Coinbase, and now he's the comptroller of the currency. And I think one of the most interesting things that we can pull from that is the same language he used as Brad Garlinghouse, where Brad has compared the quickest way to move money around the world is to pack it on a plane and fly it somewhere. And he used the same exact wording, the same exact verbiage, the same exact language, and it's not for no reason at all, right? These things aren't coincidences. Obviously, he is in talks with somebody, right? I mean, these are just simple common sense things that if you're in this space, you can make these realizations. What I also find interesting is the fact that he touched on, that other countries, and he named China, have faster payments than us, right? They are already utilizing digital payments, and comparing that to the US, saying how we don't yet have that and how it's years away unless if we let existing technologies do the work for us. So what are those existing technologies, right? We know that Ripple and XRP are there to utilize as on-demand liquidity, a global bridged asset, cross-border payments. It's an existing technology that's already there and can be implemented if everyone so chooses to. Whereas too, if the US made their own everything, right? Let's say the US made their own XRP, then yes, we are years away, and then we will fall behind in the quote-unquote tech Cold War. The reason I say tech Cold War is because we will go over this article today that says the US is losing the tech Cold War, warns Ripple co-founder. So this could also be, the quote-unquote tech Cold War could be another way to usher in Ripple and XRP and digital payments and everything like that. So always look at how the world events are basically happening, are unraveling in relation to your investments. In this scenario, XRP. With that said, guys, hope you guys are enjoying the video so far. I did take a couple of days off, took like a long weekend off. I think went like 3 or 4 days with no upload, and it felt really great to just take a break, get away from making videos for a little bit, kind of reset my mind. It did a lot of reading, did a lot of thinking, did a lot of planning, and now it feels good to be basically just getting back into it. With that said, coin prices for today, we have Bitcoin at 11,700, XRP at 28 cents, Chainlink at $15, Cardano at 12 cents, Tezos at 3.75, Stellar at 10 cents, Tron at 2.5, Vechain at 1.8. Our fear and greed index for today is at 78. Yesterday we were 76, and last week we were in extreme greed at 83. Also, for Google Trends, crypto, the search term crypto on Google Trends, and basically what Google Trends is calculating is how many people are searching for the term crypto, and as we can see, we are still trending up. Our previous highest 2 touch points that correlate with Bitcoin's run up, and really the entire crypto run up for that matter, 27 and 24, and right now we are well above that at 30. So we are above the 2 previous, I guess you could say, resistance levels. And it's kind of funny, you know, this line chart actually shows us breaking above, and you can even see like a little back test here of, you know, that's there. So it's just funny how charts from completely different things seem to respect technical analysis. It's really cool to observe. But this is good long term to keep fueling the bull market, and for the short term because we are having more interest in the crypto markets as a whole. Now, also, let's go back into this. The U.S. losing a technological Cold War. Chris Larson, co-founder and chairman at Major Crypto Payments from Ripple, said that China's digital currency leadership is a once-in-a-century opportunity to replace the U.S. dollar with the digital yuan as the world's reserve currency. Larson set out the main reasons for China winning the U.S. in the ongoing technological struggle. Namely, China has already achieved the near universal use of digital payments via tech giants like Alipay and WeChat. And while China is on the cusp of issuing its own central bank digital currency, the digital yuan, the U.S. still does not have an official digital dollar initiative, Larson noted. He adds at least 65% of cryptocurrency mining is concentrated in China, which means the Chinese government has the majority needed to wield control over those protocols and can effectively block or reverse transactions. Larson also mentioned China's security expansion to Hong Kong, claiming that China is now the only country in the world that controls 2 global financial centers. In order to challenge China's tech and crypto leadership, the U.S. must recognize that strong American financial technology companies are in its own national security interest. The exec said that the U.S. has to start the digital dollar initiative immediately to keep up with the digital yuan, with the next step to be establishing Silicon Valley as a global financial technology powerhouse. Brad Garlinghouse highlighted that the biggest challenge faced by Ripple so far is the lack of clarity around the regulatory status of XRP. I think we're going to see more and more of this tech Cold War. I think we're going to see probably some warranted fear mongering about China coming on and taking over the world with their digital yuan, and that should be to help quicken the rollout and implementation of the digital dollar, whether that's going to be involving Ripple and XRP or not, which I think it will, because I mean, just look at what we're hearing. But even if not, this tech Cold War will ramp up the process of the US creating a digital dollar and the dollar going digital, and it will push cryptocurrencies as a whole into a new spotlight that it's never been before, right? Into a new era of adoption. Now, we also have Canadian software startup puts 40% of cash reserves into Bitcoin. So remember, a few weeks ago, we saw MicroStrategy, which was a US company, and they put a lot of capital into Bitcoin. Now we're seeing Canadian software puts 40% of cash reserves into Bitcoin. We said on that video, a lot of people said when all that came out that we would see more and more companies do this. I definitely agreed with that. We will see more companies do this, and here's the first example, another company doing something similar to that. So we are still bullish, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you drop it a like. It felt really great to take a break, but man, it feels even better to be on here recording another video for you guys. So I'm excited. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already, where you get a video like this daily. We go over Bitcoin, altcoins, and everything going on in the crypto space to help keep you up to date. With that said, I will see you all on the next one.